And we're live.
Yay!
Yay! Woo! Did anyone listen back to last week's episode to see how much stuff got cut out of it and how many things Brad got to stick at the end? Crickets. Very good.
Sorry.
Very
I want to go out for a second.
I assume as soon as it's
Nothing
uploaded,
changes,
it's
Max.
perfect.
Yeah. No. As soon as the show is finished, it is like it's like a perfect little ball that you just like you grab and you just put it up on a shelf, and it's done. Every episode. We've done this 194 times. Let's go for the 195th. The big question. No, I'll ask the big question after we start the show. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Set. Are you sitting comfortably, everyone? Yes, Mr. Jason. Yeah.
Yes, Mr.
All right.
Murray.
Yes, good. All right. Very good. Welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We are bringing you Transformers news from around the world in Australian accents. This is episode 195. We're 5 away from the big 200. We are recording live on Friday, 12th of June, 2019. This week, there's actually a lot of siege. There's a lot of siege. You might say the show is under siege. And that's actually about it. There's siege figures, and I think there's a couple of photos of a masterpiece or something. That's coming up after this. Hey, Google Chrome needs to update. Hey, that's going to go well.
Or maybe don't update if it kills Hangouts like we think it's going to.
I only use Google Hangouts for these because Firefox can't run it.
You know what? My Google Home just started talking to me when I said Google Chrome. So I have taken the drastic action of muting its microphone.
There you go.
Your house is going to burn down now. Like,
yeah,
it's out for you.
It's quite correct.
Why?
It's quite correct. All right. Hi.
Hello.
I'd say more drunk, but hey, that's just me.
Who's more drunk? Am I drunk? Am I meant to be drunk?
I wouldn't mind being drunk.
I could be drunk.
Go on then.
Should we do a drunk cast?
Yeah.
I can't now. I mean, look, there is a cask. There's like a box of wine out in the living room, but like I can't. Whatever it is, I just can't.
For the 200th episode.
For the 200th episode,
we'll all get sloshed.
I'll tell you what's going on. Right. First of all, let's introduce each other. You're Brad.
I'm Brad Lee. I don't want to get.
Sorry, you are Bradley.
Yes.
Bradley, who are you going to introduce?
I'm going to introduce my good friend Max.
You better introduce Max, otherwise no one introduces Max. Max.
I'll have to cry if that happens. Thank you, Bradley. I don't know if I'm willing to make the commitment though. It's like an extra syllable above Brad. It's just the effort on my lungs is a bit much.
I would appreciate the effort.
You do know that sounds that you make don't come from your lungs, right?
I'm a biology student, mate. I don't know how biology works. I'm the least qualified person to tell you about that.
Max, who are you going to introduce?
I suppose I'll introduce the only remotely smart person on the call, that being Jason. Or maybe Brad's. But he's just. I thought me.
I thought you were gonna reintroduce Bradley.
I thought you were going to introduce Omega Supreme.
I could introduce Omega Supreme. I don't know if he's got much to say to us.
We're not going to get to Omega Supreme yet, but we will get to Omega Supreme. Yes. So hi guys. How's the week been?
It's been pretty good. It's tax time here, so I've been brushing up on my copy of The Joy of Financial Advice.
Yeah, so everyone's been having a bit of a hell of a time of tax time today in Australia because the MyGov system, which is poorly named and poorly implemented, apparently crashed. Now, the other thing that I think is quite funny is that when you go to your iPhone or go to your Android phone and you go to the App Store, when you look at the number one app, and it's been this way for about a week and a half now, the number one app in both stores is not Twitter, it's not Facebook or Weibo or whatever all the video sharing things are. It's the fucking MyGov access code generator.
Oh, wow.
It is the most popular app in the country for the opening week of July.
The funny
Because
thing
we,
is,
because we all only use that bloody website once a year, and that's it. Like,
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. And so people update their phones, and then they're like, "Fuck, I don't want to install that app." But come this time of year, everyone's installing the app. Now, Max, I have a question to ask you based on what I can see on your camera there.
on my camera.
Well, the
On your
terrified
camera,
look.
yes. Also, it's just kind of weird. Yes, is not switching to me when I speak, so I may need to just manually take over the camera here and there.
It's switching to you on my screen.
Yeah, it's switching. It's doing that for me. I don't-
Did it
I think
only
it's
just
always weird like that. Like
did it
this.
only just switch now?
No, it was
No.
switching before.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, so like if I'm talking now and I'm not the active camera on my screen, so like
Oh.
whatevs.
Well, then your monitor has remarkably good taste.
All right, if it's switching okay, then that's good. So Max, you have an empty shelf behind you.
I do.
You've
Don't worry,
got two
I
empty
didn't
shelves.
sacrifice any Transformers for that. Don't
What?
worry.
What did you sacrifice?
A whole bunch of Star Wars stuff. So I spent
Is that it? You're out of Star Wars now?
no, not out of it. by any
Have you
means. I
cracked the
just-
shit at Disney?
No, it's not. Don't worry. I'll be uploading angry rant videos about the Last Jedi for the next 2 years. Don't worry.
Oh, here we go.
I thought we'd been doing that for the last year already.
I've moved past it. I've contained the hatred. But
Fair enough.
it was just
The fire
I
still burns.
spent a long while building up a massive Imperial shelf, right? And it was something like 45 odd figures in total. And then I got it to a state where I was really happy with it, and I'm like, well, now what do? I don't have any more room. I've bought just about every variety of Stormtrooper I could own. There's actually not much point. I didn't really get any satisfaction from it anymore. Like, there's things where you can get a display together and it stays there, and I feel satisfied with it. But that I just sort of, it didn't hold the same appeal to me, which is kind of a shame because it's something I was quite proud of. But it then it'd be a bit of money and it cleared some space, so it worked out in the end. And it's just something where it's fun to put together.
I see. Yeah, no, you're right. That is a bit of a shame. No, but well, yeah. Oh well. I've so I after last week's show, we got a request from Daria Sigma to get a photograph of all of my Seekers, because I've got all 31 Seeker molds. So I thought.
Oh.
It does appear to be a Henke Ramjet missing. I'm fairly sure that he's in a box somewhere, and I just don't know where he is because I've just moved house. So I don't know.
Is
I
this
thought
the classic Seeker mold?
Yeah, the classic Seekers. Like, I thought I'd packed them all together, but I also vaguely have recollections of a Seeker going into a box on his own. And so there's one Seeker missing, and I'm desperately hoping that is actually the Seeker that I'm thinking of. But otherwise, I'm gonna have to go out and buy myself a Henke Ramjet. So yeah.
Oh, good luck with that.
Well, look, I'm going to TF Nation, and I'm going through Singapore to get there. So like, chances are all right that like I might get one for under $200.
Yeah, that's the golden price, under $200.
It is kind of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yes, like I may have lied when I said I had all 31 of the Seekers. I mean, there's a bunch of KOs sitting on the desk, so I decided to take the KOs off the display shelf, and I might just put them up somewhere else. We'll see how I go. You can sort of see behind me. I at least have got less. I've got less figures just sort of sitting around, assuming if I continue to block the view of the table behind me, then there's less of a mess in here. But no, it's still a bit of a mess. There's still a lot to do. So.
It's organized chaos.
It's not very well organized.
Okay, it's chaos then.
Yeah, that's right. So yes, look, it's been an interesting week. I haven't actually spent any time in the study this week. I've been watching Stranger Things on Netflix, because season 3 of Stranger Things is holy shit. It's so good. So yeah, that's been great.
Oh,
right. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to start. We're going to
Let's talk
start
about Transformers.
Let's start talking about some news.
Gnu.
News. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that there and there, right? And then if I put that there, present
Looks
to
like
everyone.
Pornhub in there. Oh, there you go.
There we go. So this guy's a big guy. We are looking at some photographs of Siege Omega Supreme, or Omega Supreme, as he's known to his friends.
Yeah.
He's a big one. He's the Titan class figure for this year, which means he's about the size of Fort Max or Trypticon, as you've seen in years gone by. And what are we saying? We are expecting him to hit release pretty soon now, I think.
I think it's about September, wasn't it? Or is that online?
Not sure. I think we were sort of hoping that it might be there for SDCC, but maybe he won't quite make it. We'll see.
Yeah, because the last few years he's been coming around. Probably a couple of weeks ago.
Mm.
No, it's a bit weird. Maybe it could be a surprise for SDCC because that's this weekend, or is it next week, or is it
next weekend? I believe
next weekend. Could be a surprise. Like, hey, here's an Omega.
I think they keep a tight lid on these things usually until close to it. I think often they've sort of slipped out beforehand, but it has typically. Did they do an SDCC exclusive for Trypticon?
I don't think they did. I think he actually missed SDCC.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about Predaking either.
Wasn't Metroplex first available at a convention?
That would be Fort Max.
No, it was Metroplex. I'm pretty sure Metroplex.
Yeah, so Metroplex was at a convention in Hong Kong, but not SDCC.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I think I could be wrong about that. I look forward to all of the complaint emails that I'm going to get if that was incorrect. Sorry.
Like you read them.
They get filed.
Okay.
I have to read them to file them.
Yeah, true.
So look, I'm just flipping through some of the official photos of Omega Supreme. They are coming from the Dengeki Hobby web, the website for the magazine. They've gotten their hands on the figure. It turns into a giant rocket. There's a transformer inside the giant rocket. And it comes with a few effects pieces, so that's quite good. Very, very, very big, because we are looking at a photograph of a Voyager class Optimus Prime, and he literally comes up to his knee, the Siege Voyager Optimus Prime. And he's a big boy. He poses quite well. There's a lot of detail, and there's a lot of detail in his pieces, but he also sort of retains some of that G1 simplicity, I think.
Yeah.
He's looking to be amongst them, like maybe the most posable Titan so far. Like, I don't know. We'll wait and see how the in-hand quality reports turn out. But everything we can visually see of him, I find there's very little to say about him because there's very little to actually take issue with.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, looking at this photo, right? You've got a feel for poor Omega Supreme. He has no hands. He's got one claw and a giant gun. Like, how's he meant to get anything done? How did he get to be so big?
Pretty sure he was built that way.
Maybe. Was he built, or was he like? I don't know. I don't actually.
He just quit carbs. That's a secret.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the only thing I've seen about this guy's size is he's meant to be a comparison piece for Devastator, but that picture with Optimus Prime looks like he's going to be on scale with Metroplex and Fort Max.
I think Metroplex and Fort Max are probably about the same size as Devastator, maybe slightly larger, but
much bigger.
Prime, the Voyager Prime. Remember, it is just a Voyager, and the Siege Voyagers are quite small. So, I think the Siege Prime comes up to about Devastator's knee as well.
Who's the little guy? Got a name?
He is Countdown, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
right.
yes. His MicroMaster partner is called Countdown.
Okay.
Countdown was a base in G1, and in fact, Countdown was a rocket ship base in G1. So like, it's kind of fair enough.
Yeah, he looks all right. Like Max was saying before, wait to see in-hand reports on him, and I've seen a few in-hand reports of Jetfire, and that looks to be a bit. So hopefully, Omega Supreme's a bit more. Bit.
Look, as far as Jetfire goes, I know a couple of people who've gotten him this week because Robotoys got them in stock and shipped them out to people, and the reactions have all been pretty good. People seem quite happy with Jetfire. At least one person who I spoke with who has a Jetfire in his possession said that he thinks Hasbro's engineers played a bit with the Fans Toys Phoenix.
Okay.
Before setting out to design a Jetfire, and then decided, yep, we're going to do a better Jetfire.
Well, I mean, I've only seen a few, and I think one or two of them had a bad copy, like a few production errors and such. So, yeah.
I did see a photograph of someone showing a paint chip on his face, and someone responded and said, yeah, but the blue is missing from the crest on his head as well. And the person was like, oh, I didn't notice. So yeah, I mean, look, they're not collectors. They're not collector piece toys. They are toys. So there's going to be some imperfections. They're not always going to be perfect out of the box. Especially, I think when you get to an engineering project that's the scale of like a Commander class or a Titan class Transformer, like you're going to find, maybe the paint wasn't correctly applied to one of these pieces or something. I don't know. It is what it is. It's kind of I think it's kind of a trade-off for the size of the figure. Is that sometimes some of the details might be a bit off. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this guy though, because in the secondary market for G1 Omega Supreme, he's always missing the yellow clips, and it looks like this guy doesn't really have yellow clips. He's got a few yellow pieces, which looks like they're like an homage to the yellow clips on his shins.
I believe that might actually be correct. They are meant to sort of evoke the clips. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to this guy. At the moment, I have Year of the Snake Omega Supreme, and he's a pretty good size.
He's actually a very different Omega, isn't he?
Yes.
He's he's like the Energon one done up in a G1 style.
Yeah, he transforms into the two trains like the Energon mold does. He's pretty cool, but this guy looks to be far more Omega and Supreme-y. I'm looking forward to him.
Max, are you going to be getting this guy? Is he going to sit in that empty shelf space behind you?
I don't know if that empty shelf space is big enough for him, unless I chip the cabinet on its side.
You're correct, actually.
It's probably a pass for me, just on account of space. But it's something I'm curious to see how it turns out, because I don't think it looks like a really excellent figure. But to be honest, it's probably not for me.
Yeah. Look, I have a thing with the Titan figures. I don't like to buy them until they come down to $150. I'm now once this comes out, I'm now Titan behind because I haven't picked up Predaking, and I'm not actually sure that Predaking is going to hit the floor like Fort Max did in Trypticon. But look, I think maybe they will. Maybe later in the years. I think late last year was when Trypticon's price dropped low enough for me to sort of dip in there and get him. So Predaking will come down, and so I'll be picking up Omega Supreme late 2020 probably.
Yeah, Predaking, you're right in that, just haven't really seen any significant drop. It's like 50-50 with a lot of major releases nowadays in the Generations line, whether or not they really retain their value and sometimes go up, or they just plummet.
Well, so I think Predaking is still $300 from Maya. Maya seems to be the place that consistently has him in stock. I think he's about $300.
Prices are too high for anyone to buy
him. I was just going to say they actually have the cheapest deluxes in Australia at the moment at $27.95, but they also have a 20% off sale. That's their 20% off sale in action. So 20% off $300 is. What are we talking? $60. So it brings it down to $240, which is more palatable, but still more than I really want to pay for a Titan.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I got Predator King last year, I think, and if you're not really set on getting him, I wouldn't recommend. He's impressive to look at from like an engineering and how they were able to achieve all that, but there's not really any incentive to desperately go out and get him.
Yeah, no, I understand and I agree, which is why I don't have him that much. But, yeah, I haven't really felt the need to get him that much. I mean,
Plus,
anyway.
another thing against him is he has an awful lot of stickers.
That's all right. I don't mind stickers.
Yeah,
I just leave them on the sheet.
fair enough.
All right. Mega Supreme is coming out soon. Not entirely sure when, but we should expect to see him coming out shortly. Let's move on to the next story. The next story is some official photographs of Transformers Siege Blue Streak, the police car that is not blue.
He's silver.
He's silver. He's not blue, but whatever. We are looking at a repaint of the Siege Prowl mold, and I gotta say, like, the more I see these repaints, so we've seen Prowl redecoed into Ricochet, and we've also seen him redecoed into Barricade as well, and kind of feel like they started with the most boring version of the mold possible in Prowl, because all the repaints have looked great.
Yeah, it's also like, who's gonna really care about Prowl nearly as much as any of his other characters? Like, I get it, it's Prowl, but there's other options for him, right? It's, I don't know, the others, it feels like it's, you know, a big new thing. It's exciting, especially for actually, we got a Prowl in Combiner Wars, didn't we?
We did get we got most of the Autobots in Combiner Wars, but they were shadows of their real selves.
I mean, it's not like the other characters, with the exception of Barricade, are absent, where Prowl is usually present, right? They're easy repaints, so they always do them. But I feel like Prowl is a character that's present in just about every iteration of G1 there is, and he's sort of just, I know he's a bit too much of a staple, and his color scheme's a bit.
I find the Siege version of Prowl is just too white.
Yeah, he's just unexciting in a way. Whereas if you look at these other guys, you know, Smokescreen, you know, bright, exciting color scheme, Barricade, first time you've had him done in this style, and Blue Streak, in my opinion, seems to wear the mold like twice as well as Prowl does. Like, if you compare it feels like the mold was made for Blue Streak. It's just a matter of the color separation, like the way that the colors are placed on the figure, sort of slims down the proportions a bit. Just from visually, it comes across as a lot cleaner.
Yeah, I think part of it is the red, and I think also it's the black. He's a darker figure, and you know they say black is slimming.
I really do like the picture of the alt mode, though. That alt mode does look pretty sexy. I'm not gonna lie.
The alt mode doesn't look that different to Prowl's alt mode to me, but like Prowl's alt mode is sort of like a futuristic car. Is sort of like, I don't really much care for it. Like you can sort of see like the door on the side of this is a bit weird.
Yeah,
but sure. I don't know.
The only reason I'm looking out for, you know, interesting Prowls is I've got the Henkei Universe Prowl, Smokescreen, and Blue Streak, and I've never really liked that mold because the door wings always pop off. He becomes a bit of a parts warmer.
So you're looking for a bit of a replacement for them.
Definitely, yeah. And these guys look pretty cool.
I must admit, like, I don't think I've fully appreciated the Generations mold for these guys very much. Well, I don't think I've fully appreciated it. I got them all in a single purchase all at once, and so when I put them up on the shelf, it was more sort of a bit of a chore to get them all out and put them up, and then I just sort of left them there and forgot about them. So I don't know if I've really taken the time to really take in the Generations versions, but like I said, the Siege version, I'm I'm not unimpressed with it at all. But like looking at the car mode, I really don't like that door. But whatever.
Yeah, the only thing that put me off about Prowl in Siege is just the whole Cybertronian aspect. Like he doesn't look like a Earth cop car, and also the battle damage and the Cybertronics kind of. But this alt mode here, he actually does look like an Earth car.
Yeah, which is weird since they're on Cybertron, but whatever.
Well, yeah, I know. He doesn't have Cybertronic characters on him, and I think this is true for all of because this is a Hasbro eShop thing, isn't it? Or is it part of the retail?
Well, let's talk about that. Let's go to the next image here. So this guy has some slightly different packaging to the rest of the Siege line, but he is a part of the Siege line. So they've taken the sort of the angled wedge part of the box where they would normally put the character art, and they've just sort of set him up with the Transformers 35 for a 35th anniversary thing, which Takara's actually been doing these for the last sort of 6 months or so. I think they started with the Golden Lagoon Prime, but it isn't. Look, it's nice to see. It's nice to see Hasbro sort of doing a celebration line. I think. Oh, look, I say it's nice to see, but like they did Thrilling 30 as well. So this is really, I guess, ultimately it's just Transformers 35. But yeah, whether or not I don't think that's an imprint that they're going to keep for too long. I think it's something they're going to release a few characters in, because we've got the next one coming up next. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it's definitely still got the Siege War for Cybertron trilogy branding on him as well.
Yeah, but like I was saying, for like the exclusive e-releases that they've been doing, they don't have battle damage on them. They don't have scuff marks, and this Blue Streak seems to be following that motif of no battle damage.
It's true. Look, Prowl had very little battle damage anyway, the original version of the mold, so it's hard to say. Looking at TFW's report, it does actually say that there's no word yet on how the figure will be released, whether it'll be a retail release or an online exclusive. So I'd say we will find out in the next few weeks. Maybe it might turn up as an SDCC figure. You never know.
Yeah, that's your SDCC Titan.
Yeah.
Yes. That's right. Now, look, along with that, let's go along to the next story, which does actually show off another forthcoming Siege figure. He's a repaint of Soundwave into Sound Blaster. So he's a bigger version of the box, but he's definitely got the same thing with the 35th anniversary there. And of course, he's the Soundwave mold with a I think a more prominent. He's got the more prominent tape deck on here, which Sound Blaster had in G1 as well, and he's obviously a darker color deco as well.
Yeah, the in-box one, is that just the cardboard cutout? Because that doesn't look like a toy in the box.
Yeah, who knows?
It's very weird, but
I think it's likely because these were actually shown off at a show a couple of weeks ago, I think.
So it's a mock-up.
I think it's very likely that they only had one prototype, and they put him out on display, so they put the cardboard cutouts in the box.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Well, we'll see. I don't really know for sure if that's the case, but that is how I suspect that section has played out. So yeah, so there will be a Sound Blaster repaint of Soundwave coming out, because that always has to happen. Every line that gets a Sound Blaster gets a Soundwave gets a Sound Blaster. That's not actually true, because Power of the Primes didn't, but whatever. Let's just move on.
Transformers Prime, I don't think did as well.
Or was it Titan's Return where they had Soundwave and Blast? I think it was Titan's Return, actually.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Titan's Return.
Yeah. Okay, right. So that's the 35th anniversary Sound Blaster box. The TFW also got their hands on an actual flat, a flat lay of the how the cardboard gets printed out, which I'm sure Hasbro's happy about them having that, but sure.
Really fascinating.
It's not really that cool, but it's okay.
I would have thought that this may have come with a couple of extra cassettes, but it looks like it's still going to be Laserbeak Ravage, both in the one toy, if this Sound Blaster is carrying on the tradition of having extra room in his chest.
Yeah, it's not sure. I'm not sure that it actually comes with the figures. Like Ravage and Laserbeak are available at retail, and
Yeah.
good lord, are they available at retail? They are
Uh,
drowning store shelves in Australia. Nobody wants those figures, and like there's every single store that I've been to this week has got like 10 or 20 of them, and the staff. As I sort of walk out empty-handed, the staff just sort of there's a tear just wells up in their eyes. It's
They're
like,
like, we're sorry, but we've got
why?
20 pegs full of Laserbeak and Ravage. If you want to buy any of them, might give us some room to hang up some deluxes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed. All right, move on. No, not to that one. But, oh, what am I doing? I am moving on that way. So,
Ah!
oh my eyes. So we have seen like I said, there's a lot of generations and Hasbro and Siege in tonight's story list. So we have seen another Generation Selects figure revealed, and she is the Fembot Lancer. I can only assume that Mitsubishi doesn't really have that much to say about it. But yeah, she is the brightest Lancer I have ever seen. Usually Lancers in Australia are white or
Yeah.
silver, perhaps. But she borrows a Mitsubishi Kane, but that's about all she borrows. She is a repaint of Moonracer, I believe, since she's the combiner. So Moonracer became Siege Greenlight, who is another combiner limb. Hasbro's sort of backfilling the combiner limbs from Power of the Primes, where they sort of dropped the ball with Elita One. And who was the limbs that got released in Power of the Primes for Elita One?
I think they were like maybe a Decepticon or two.
I thought it was Moonracer.
Oh, Moonracer and
Something else, but
probably some of the Dinobots.
well, the
Lose track.
Dinobots are not meant to be part of it. So, the all put together, the Fembots are meant to make up Orthia, Combiner, and so this is the final limb. This one is specifically a repaint of the Greenlight mold from Siege, who has the Combiner port and is a bit of a reworking of Moonracer, I believe. And so she's got a very, very bright color scheme. It's upset people a lot, but I also think that the orange and purple kind of do actually go together with each other fairly well. But no, I understand why people are annoyed.
It's complementary colors, and
they do complement each other well.
Yeah,
so it's just a matter of people aren't really used to this gaudishness. I mean,
So
G2 was a thing. We should be accepting of this.
Well, so people aren't used to this gaudishness on this figure, I believe. Like there was an expectation that it would have colors that were not quite so out there.
I mean, it's G1 accurate,
Ish.
It's a bit more turned up than the actual cartoon model.
Yeah. This just looks like a companion piece to the Primus that came in the last night toy line, wasn't that?
Yes, the blue and orange planet Cybertron Primus. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah,
does Hasbro just have an obsession with this particular color scheme?
I think it's possible. It's like
Someone needs to ask John Warden at SDCC.
Do someone please do that. It's like that. There's a study where people actually put movie posters over like the last 50 years side by side, and in the early years of cinema, there's lots and lots of different color variation, and now every single movie poster is basically blue or purple
with lens flares.
Yeah, lens flares and stuff. But like the predominant color of all of these posters has become blue. It's really weird. But yeah, no. So the predominant color of all of these things has become G2 bright neon.
Yeah, that picture there made me think of was it Sentinel Prime you saw in G1? Like he was the original sort of bearer of the Matrix, gave to Alpha Trion. It really rings of that particular character model to me, and I don't know why. Because this is female. He wasn't. It just looks very odd.
I gotta say, I don't know.
And it looks like she's got a donut on the end of her gun.
I was thinking that I feel like that's an effect that someone's added to the photo. Yeah, bit cheeky. Didn't know, but yes. Okay, moving on. Final story. No, second last story. Just some new pictures of the Masterpiece Jazz. And since we have other Masterpiece movie figures around, they've sort of put half of Jazz in Optimus Prime's arms. So good on them.
Still, the fact that they included this gimmick at all still gets me.
It's amazing. I didn't know they had this gimmick, and then the first picture we saw was Jazz in stretched out mode, and it's like, wow.
Really? Did you not know?
No, I didn't know.
So yeah, look, there's a few photos have been released. I believe these came via Autobase HE, the website, and yes, you can most definitely split him into two. But there's a lot of nice comparisons with other movie Jazz figures there, and there's a human running in front of him. I think that's meant to be Sam. And he's a very detailed figure, like most movie masterpieces. Not
Is
for
it
me.
just me, or do the robot mode pictures here look obscenely better than the ones in that they officially released? Like,
oh, you're probably right. These guys are fans, so they're going to go to a lot of trouble to actually make their photos look good. Really.
Yeah. Looking pretty. I do like how he's posing on the other Jazz, like when he was introduced in the first movie. Like, this will look like a cool place to kick it, and he just jumps back, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yes. Masterpiece Jazz. When is he coming out? I'm not quite sure.
He's dead.
It's worse than that. He's due in the next month or so. Actually, you know what else? You know what else is due in the next month or two is MP44 Optimus Prime 3.0.
Ooh.
oh, that came around quickly.
It is. So it is July. July has come around very quickly in the year of 2019. So yeah, we are expecting to start getting our hands on a new Optimus Prime very soon. I'm detracting from Jazz, but I'm just trying to talk about Masterpiece figures because I kind of don't care about Masterpiece movie figures.
Fair enough. I thought that was a segue.
No, not so much for segue, but last news story for tonight. We will jump over to it. It is a third party from third party Mech Fans Toys. They are teasing Astro Train as one of their upcoming releases. Just checking to see where is there a available date. No concrete information on release date or price, because nobody likes to actually release any information that's useful to people who are looking at their products. But so we do have a look at how Astro Chain looks in jet mode and train mode, with a bit of a lot of molded detail on the edges there.
Yeah.
And that's it. We don't have his robot mode at all.
It's like this fantastic looking jet mode and train mode, like especially for a Legends class. There just isn't a robot mode because it's so small. You can't achieve it. So it's just for jet and the train.
No, I'm sure there'll be a robot mode, but they just haven't gotten around to completing it yet. They haven't shown it to us.
Yeah, lots of molded detail. At first, I thought this was their Masterpiece line, but then when Max said the Legend scale, I have seen video reviews of the Iron Sky line, and it looks like they do a lot of great engineering and such. So this is obviously going to be another addition to that line.
That's true. Good. I don't own any of the figures. Do you, Max?
Oh, I think I do, or maybe I used. I think I.
They were on
I
that
think I actually owned their KO of it once.
Huh.
So not the best indicator of quality.
Perhaps not.
But their KOs are nice.
Okay. Yeah.
So I have heard good things about their original work, so I assume this will be in the same vein. But I can't speak from personal experience.
Yeah, I don't have that much of a Legends collection, so yeah, this is a bit
Legend.
Dead Set Legend.
Top bloke.
Yes. So that is it for news for us this week. Before we get on to new acquisitions, as I'm sure there are some. Everyone all right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Before we get on to new acquisitions, I do want to go back because I did miss something in the run sheet. How do I turn off screen sharing? I do that, and then I go stop presenting to everyone. Are we back? We're back. We're back.
We're here.
All right, good. So one of the things I missed out on the run sheet, which does actually lead into acquisitions, right? There are two things that Brad kindly added into the run sheet for our today in Australian Transformers Weekly History. First of all, we got some final image of Open and Play's Big Spring, and yes, I do still have the Big Spring. I've not given him up in favor of Fans Toys or Ocular Max Springer, and it's because frankly I love him to pieces. Open Play. Open Play. I've got both of their releases in my collection, and so I've got this guy and I've got Big Cannon, who you can't see on this shelf behind me, but they've impressed with both their releases. I don't know what they're doing for their next release. They've been very quiet for a while. I hope they're all right. Someone from Open and Play, please contact us and tell us that you're okay.
Unless you're still there. I've seen video reviews for them. Is it true that they don't come with instruction manuals?
Oh no, they don't even come with boxes anymore.
Really?
Yeah, Big Cannon came. Big Cannon shipped in a bag. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just a Ziploc bag.
Yeah. But like you're gonna throw that out anyway, so why not?
Yeah.
You know, it's actually an environmentally friendly thing on their part. Big Spring did come in a shoebox essentially.
Oh, okay.
And that was it. So it was a shoebox with a plastic insert, and then for Big Cannon they were just like, here you go. It even had a handle in there above the Ziploc.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. So yes. So we were introduced to Big Spring, whom I'm. Having just picked him up and handled him a bit there, like I'm still very, very much in love with that figure. That is fantastic. And the other question that Brad asks in the today in Transformers Weekly History is about a year ago this week, which probably coincides with it being SDCC a year ago. We got introduced to the new War for Cybertron Siege figures. Are we collecting these, guys?
I am.
I've got one. It's probably going to stay one for a decent time.
Which one have you got, Max?
The Combat Megatron, the G2 recolor.
Yeah, you showed us that last week. Brad, how about yourself?
I've been collecting. Well, I am in the act of collecting the Seekers. Pretty much because it's been confirmed that we're going to be getting, the original 3 at least, and they are a hefty Voyager scale compared to the Henkei Deluxe scale. So you can see War for Cybertron's a bit heftier and cheaper than these guys. I'm collecting the Seekers, looking forward to getting Refractor/Reflector, and I'm quite enjoying the line. How about you, Jason?
So Wave 3 is hitting retail shelves around the country at the moment if you go to Kmart. So if you go to Kmart, you might find yourself a Refractor.
Went there today, they didn't have it. They had a lot of Laser Beacon Ravage though.
Yeah, funny that. Did they have any Studio Series Crowbar? So
no,
Crowbar was the shelf warmer for a while, but I have a feeling it might be Laser Beacon Ravage now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just Laser Beacon Ravage everywhere, even somehow in the Voyager scale section. Laser Beacon Ravage everywhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I did actually go out to Kmart today and picked up 3 figures. The first is not is not very well, not well. He's a bit surprising. So New South Wales missed out on a lot of siege figures. So I picked myself up Hound. Hound has sort of come back in wave 3, so he's sort of been reissued, and looking forward to playing with Hound a bit more. It was the only, so yeah. Out of wave 1, I actually do want Cog, and I do want Sideswipe as well. Excuse me. I did pick up Skytread from Hobbyco when they actually had wave 1 figures. I just didn't buy too many that day because I figured that they would come out and they'd be cheap.
Yeah.
They'd be cheap on sale, but I didn't figure that New South Wales would miss wave 1 almost entirely. So I've got myself a Siege Hound. Also in the same wave 3, also picked up a Brunt. Now, I did actually get to play with Brunt a bit a few weeks ago, and just found him quite fun to play with. There's quite a lot of options, like bits of him come off and everything, so you can attach them to others.
He's a weaponizer, is he?
I believe so. I'd have to go and check the box, but I have to pull it out of the recycling. And I just want to point out, like, this just sort of goes to show just how versatile the Siege figures are with their posability, right? So, so you can see. So I've got Red Alert in my hand. He's a repaint of Sideswipe. Never got Sideswipe from Wave 1. I'll have to acquire him later. But so Red Alert swiveled his waist, swiveled his ankle, and lots of posability options. Like the Siege figures really are quite dynamic with their posability. So I'm very impressed. And also apparently Sideswipe was actually just one of the best figures of the line so far. So it makes sense that a repaint of him would also probably be one of the best figures.
Yeah, it's been impressive to see that stuff like ankle tilt seems to be almost universal with this line.
Very true. Yeah, they really do show that Hasbro is making a bit of an effort to implement these things that fans have been saying for a while that they want. Whether or not, like, you can't just sort of recognize, hey, there's a lot of third-party toys out there and they have ankle tilts and people like them. You need to get your engineers to think in terms of implementing ankle tilts, and you need to sort of engineer that. And I think you also need to engineer it in at the base level of design for a product line instead of just doing it here and there.
I think they're also starting to aim more not more, but a bit towards the collectors displaying sort of market instead of just a cash grab for parents to buy for their kids sort of thing.
Maybe. I've been talking with a few people today about sort of what does and doesn't sell in the local market, and I was chatting with Declan this evening, and he sort of said that there's been a lot of a trend lately of kids not really wanting to buy kids not wanting small toys, they want big toys. And we can see that in the Transformers line with the Titans that have come out the last few years, but also this year they've slipped an extra big toy into the line with Commander Class Jetfire as well. And so you kind of wonder if the days of some of the smaller figures like the deluxes might go away. We might end up with a line that has more Voyagers but fewer overall figures in years to come.
Yeah, something to think about.
So those are my acquisitions for the week. I got myself a Hound, a Brunt, and a Red Alert. Brad or Max? Max, do you have anything?
I'd like to say I do, but unfortunately not.
Right. That's kind of why I erred towards going for Bradley. Bradley, what have you got for us?
I have got, I can't remember his name, Galaxy Upgrade.
Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime.
Yes, that's right. I'm very happy to have him. He was the only one available at Maya for, was it $70 they were going for? And
it's a good price. Because they were on the 20% off sale. Yes.
Yeah, very happy to have him. I do have one gripe, which we were talking about before, which I don't think it'll come up on camera anyway, but he's missing a big chunk from his knee cover. And you know what? I'm okay with it because they're meant to be showing, battle scars and such. And yeah, so I'm very happy to have him, missing piece and all. And He looks awesome. I keep forgetting to do research, but would this be a good companion piece with that Armada Megatron that came out in Combiner Wars, or are they completely different shows?
I think they actually are. So, what do we have? We had Armada, Energon, and Cybertron or Galaxy Force, and so he's from the final one, and Armada is sort of the first one. But they're all officially part of the Unicron trilogy, if you ask Hasbro, and completely separate, if you ask Takara.
Yeah, it's just really nice to have something that, even though similar, same trilogy, but probably different iterations. But it's just nice to have this guy and Armada Megatron sort of on different shelves, fighting for different parts of the galaxy.
Yes, yes, indeed. They can all look. Everyone can have their own corner of the galaxy, and everyone can be happy.
Yeah, choose your own continuity. That's my rule for collecting.
That is how things work in my collection and yours, I guess. I can see a Transformers Legends box over your right shoulder. What is that?
Oh yeah, that's the box for. I think I showed him last time I was on, but I'm happy to show him again. Big powered.
Oh, big powered. Yes, it does make sense. It is a big box too. So yeah,
It's a big figure.
Oh yeah,
He's lined up.
Yeah, he's.
I mean, big powered is not messing around. It's right there in his name.
Yeah, big powered. It's nice how they just called him Big Powered, because there's not really a name you can apply to this, is there? Big Powered Tank, maybe Jet, certainly. But what is he? What are you? He's awesome, if nothing else. Happy to have him. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to get the dust off the old review area and start doing some Transformers reviews again.
That would be good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Without too much ado, that's actually about it. We've reached the end of the show. We've gone through our acquisitions. We've gone through this week in, and most of it we've hit all the news points. Did anything else happen this week that we need to know about?
We've hit the hour
If
mark.
we can't think of it, we didn't need to know about it.
Very good. Very good.
That's true.
All right. In that case, and since we are pushing the 1 hour mark, although I think we might be a little bit under still, that is it. We're gonna end the show. Thank you very much. And now we did mention earlier in the show that we are heading towards number 200. It's a little bit unknown as to whether or not we're going to make it. We're not sure if we're going to make it to 200 episodes before Hangouts on Air goes away from YouTube. So. We're not entirely sure if you will see us for the 200th episode, but we will still be around and we will still be recording shows.
You will be able to hear us.
You will be able to hear us. There will be some form of audio podcast at least to listen to. No idea what the rest of it's going to be like. So, yeah.
Should we say the wheels are in motion?
No.
Okay.
No, because they're not.
The wheels are being retracted.
retract the wheels.
Yeah,
we don't really know what's going on with them. So yeah, cool. All right. So thank you very much for listening. The podcast is a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia. The club is a registered non-profit organisation in the state of Victoria. It's run by volunteers donating their time and money to make the club better for everyone and make life better in general for everyone. We like to connect Transformers fans around the country, and we do it by engaging the collecting community. You can find out more about the club, including affordable yearly membership options, because it is membership time at the moment. The club runs on a financial year membership basis, and memberships do start at $5 a month. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can find us on the Transformers Collectors Club Australia Facebook page, and you can also contact us on Australian Transformers Weekly on Facebook. You'll find out more about these stories and links to everything in the show notes. And thank you very much if you've been watching us live. And of course, you can find Brad Groovy Guy on Twitch at twitch.tv/groovyguy0069.
That is all for the big pair of legs with a twitch between them.
Yes, there might be a lot of twitching, but yes. Anyway, thank you very much. That is all from us, and we will be back with more Transformers news in episode 196 next week.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Is that us?